Today's a WRAL weather alert day. We're going to see rain on and off all day. I'll show you how much more we'll see for today and the coming days as well.
Rainy commute. A live look from the WRAL storm tracker this morning on Jones Franklin Road in Cary. We are tracking the rain and the road conditions as you start your day.
Plus, snap in limbo. More than 1 million North Carolinians may not receive food benefits next month because of the government shutdown. The scramble from state leaders to find a solution before time runs out. And this.
Freeman sends a fly ball to center field. Varsho's going back before the clock strikes midnight.
A historic game. After 18 innings and nearly 7 hours, a dramatic end to Game 3 of the World Series that ended at 2:50 in the morning. And that was a marathon of a game, wasn't it? Good morning, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. We're here to get you ready for a marathon morning. Thanks for joining us on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. We have widespread rain out there. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Levin. Got a lot to get to. Heavy rain overnight and this morning across our area is creating a messy commute.
It is much needed rain, but it has caused some issues. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker of a power line down in Wake County last night. We're tracking the potential for outages today as well. We have team coverage this morning as we track where the rain is moving.
So let's first begin with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner as she is tracking in on a dual Doppler 5000.
And we have 3 issues really for you this morning. 1 is the rain, 2 is the wind, and 3 are the temperatures. So it's going to be messy in many, many ways for us today. We have scattered showers showing up on the dual Doppler 5000 radar, and you can see rain across the viewing area, but there are definitely some patches where it's started to break up a little bit. We're going to see this really on and off all day long, though. Our hour-by-hour rain chances, 90% through lunchtime, and then during the evening commute, it's a 50 to 60% chance. So that rainfall will continue. It'll just be a bit patchy. It will stay with us all day and across the entire viewing area. Just like yesterday, it'll be chilly, but the winds are picking up. We did see that tree down there on the power lines. We could see more of that today as well. This is a look at downtown Raleigh. You can see, oh, it is wet, wet, wet out there. Our wind is out of the northeast, steady at 15. Our temperature is only 49 degrees, and it's wet out there. Winds will be gusting this afternoon, 20, 25, up to 30 miles per hour, and our forecast highs are only in the low 50s. We're going to go over the wind in a little bit more detail in terms of the timeline for when it will be strongest. Speaking of wind, of course, we're tracking Melissa. At this point, the center of circulation, the eye, is only about 50 miles from the west coast of Jamaica right there. So it is really bearing down on that island. Of course, they've already overnight seen a lot of the very heavy rain bands and the very strong winds. This is a look at the path likely to be Category 5 as the center makes landfall here in western Jamaica. That's likely to happen, say, midday through the afternoon. Winds at 165 as it crosses Jamaica. Then Category 4 there in eastern Cuba and Category 2 across the Bahamas. And all of these would be big news. But of course, the biggest news is what is going to happen in Jamaica. Ken, of course, it looks like it will be catastrophic.
My goodness. But 6:03, Elizabeth, here at home, we're waking up to a wet morning commute, raining out there right now. That's why we've dispatched the WRAL storm tracker out on the roads, making sure you know what to expect when you head out. Let's check in with Kelsey Coffey and photographer Josie Zimmer. You're on Tryon Road in Cary. What are you seeing right now?
Hey, Ken, we're still seeing that steady rain, not as much not as much now as we saw in the last half hour, but still steady enough. So we'll go ahead and give you a live look now at road conditions. We know that a lot of folks take Tryon Road if they're headed out to take their kids to school or headed off to work. There's lots of neighborhoods in this area, and this road is definitely one of the slickest ones that we've seen. Now, I did check in with our meteorologist team, and they say that we really needed this rain. Monday's rain was the most rain we've seen in a day since August 11th. So we're expecting that we'll see this rain throughout the entire morning commute all across our viewing area. So if you're headed out the door, be sure just to give yourself a little bit of extra time because you're going to want to slow down out here. But just as far as your visibility, not too much of an impact here, but still something just to be a little cautious about. So Ken, what can you tell folks before they head out the door?
Yeah, they're all for a handful of schools right there off Tryon Road. Really and truly, I want to remind people about the North Carolina's move over law in these rainy conditions. You see it a crash scene, move over one lane to give law enforcement an opportunity to safely work those scenes. Right now, coming into the capital city, we're not seeing very little to no delays. If you're coming in from Garda, Johnston County, just a 1 minute delay between Highway 36 and the Beltline. Similarly, we're just seeing a 1 minute delay if you're coming in from Nightdale. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, we are following a couple power outages right now at this hour. Duke Energy reporting at least 373 people without power. I want to show you exactly where. This is northern Wake County. You see the 540 Beltline there, and then Falls of Noose Road. It is right there on US 1. Again, showing 373 outages currently. The cause is unknown at this time. We do know that Duke Energy crews are on their way to figure out what's going on there. They say the estimated restoration is about 8:15 this morning. That could improve, so we're going to keep an eye on that, of course. But that is the main outages we are seeing. Also tracking some flight delays and cancellations at RDU right now. Only seeing 3 delays, no cancellations. We're going to stay on top of that here for you in the Live Center.
All right, thanks for staying on top of that for us, Michelle. In fact, you folks at home can stay on top with the forecast with the WRAL weather app. It is free to download with more than a dozen different radar views for you to choose from. So make sure you turn on push alerts so you can receive important weather notifications right there to your phone. Hurricane Melissa is just hours away from making landfall in Jamaica as a Category 5 storm. What you're seeing right now is a live look from part of that island, and video from earlier this morning shows the hurricane-force winds moving onto the island. The storm is forecasted to be the worst storm in the island's history. Melissa is also expected to move toward Cuba and the Bahamas, and we'll be checking in on that storm throughout the morning on WRAL News.
New this morning, a Durham caregiver who's accused of stealing money from her clients is in jail without bond. 35-year-old Kirsten Gibson is accused of taking money from the bank accounts of her clients at the facility where she works. Warrants say Gibson works at the Durham Ridge Assisted Living Facility. We've reached out to the facility and are waiting to hear back. She is expected to be in court tomorrow.
This morning, authorities are investigating after a car hit and killed a man in Johnston County. That happened last night along NC 50 near the Meadow community. That's just outside Benson, if you're familiar. State Highway Patrol says a man and his wife were trying to turn around on the road before getting stuck in a ditch. Well, another driver stopped to help, and that's when the man attempted to direct traffic and the car hit him. Troopers have not released the names of anyone involved in this.
More than 1 million North Carolinians are at risk of losing food off their tables. SNAP benefits won't go out as scheduled on Saturday if the government shutdown doesn't end. WRAL's Laura Levine is live this morning in Raleigh. Laura, so many people rely on these benefits to feed their families.
And Renee, food banks and organizations across the Triangle right now are really sounding the alarm, including here the Interfaith Food Shuttle behind me, because now they have to prepare for a surge in customers, a surge in people that really need their services like they've never seen before. So if this government shutdown continues, the government's SNAP program will no longer issue benefits in North Carolina beginning this Saturday. SNAP provides food assistance to more than 1.4 million North Carolinians, including more than 600,000 children. We spoke with a local nonprofit called Table that feeds 1,125 Orange County children every week. And they say families are already being stretched thin, and this will exacerbate the hunger problem in our communities.
The average cost of a family to live in Chapel Hill, Lee's Scarborough area, is about $2,100 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. And then they're spending about $800 on groceries. So if you do the math, it's only leaving them about $500 to $600 for everything else.
State health leaders say that they are working with federal partners to try to find a solution. Meanwhile, it's happening today. Attorney General will make an announcement around noon regarding some type of possible solution to this problem. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Just a heads up, overnight work on Rock Quarry Road near Raleigh should be wrapping up right about now. It's being completed between Auburn, Knightdale Road and Old Baucom Road. This is part of the NC 50 expansion project, and that stretch will be closed every night this week from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The entire 540 expansion is expected to be completed in late 2028. Today, Raleigh police are encouraging people to wear purple for domestic violence awareness. The department will also host an event to honor survivors. In fact, survivors will give testimony about their experiences. RPD will talk about how the community can help support victims and prevent domestic violence. The rain location for that event will be at the Police Training Center on Spring Forest Road, and it starts at 10 a.m.
The Los Angeles Dodgers are celebrating this morning and getting some rest after winning one of the longest World Series games ever.
Freeman sends a fly ball to center field. Varsho's going back before the clock strikes midnight. Freddie Freeman has ended it.
In the 18th inning at 2:50 in the morning our time, Freddie Freeman hits a walk-off solo home run to end Game 3. The Dodgers win at home 6-5. They are now up 2-1 in the series. So it's going to be a short turnaround for the Dodgers and Blue Jays. Game 4 of the World Series tonight in Los Angeles. You can watch that starting at 8 p.m. on Fox 50. 6:10 now, calls for accountability. A fertility specialist at Duke accused of fraud and fathering multiple children with patients without their consent. The next steps the hospital is taking and their plea to other patients.
Plus, privacy concerns. Leaders in Hillsborough are canceling a contract for new license plate cameras. Why police say this would have been a crucial tool.
And it is messy out there for your morning commute. Take a live look at downtown Raleigh. Not only is it wet, but it's also chilly and windy. I'll show you the conditions as we head through the day.
And here are your winning Powerball numbers. We have 17, 39, 43, 51, 66. The Powerball is 20. The multiplier is 2.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14 with an update on Melissa. Of course, you can see this powerful eye. It is only about 50 miles from the coast of Jamaica. I apologize that this is a little bit hard to see, but right here is where the western coastline of Jamaica is, where the center of circulation is likely to make landfall. And I'll put the distance down. It looks like it's around 50 miles right now. The storm is moving so slowly that it is going to take several more hours before it reaches there. And of course, Kingston is over here. Really, everything on the western side of Jamaica is likely to be destroyed. And that's just the bottom line here. The storm has winds at 175 miles per hour. It is now moving northeast at 5 miles per hour. So there's just nothing positive that we can say. It's a slow moving storm. It's one of the strongest storms that, of course, we've seen, and the strongest storm to ever make landfall, of course, in Jamaica. You can see at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, moving right across western Jamaica, and then Category 4 into Cuba, and then Category 2 in the Bahamas. And so it continues to move along with a path of destruction. Meteorologist Chris Michaels is coming up in just a few minutes to talk about what trouble the hurricane hunters have had as they've tried to look at this storm. Ken?
Elizabeth, we're getting reports of Raleigh police trying to get some type of debris in the road on Lake Boone Trail and Wycliffe Drive. If that sounds familiar to you, just know that Raleigh police working to get that debris out of the road. We don't know if it's a down tree or power lines or even branches in the road, so keep that in mind. We also have the WRAL Breaking News Tracker out on the roads this morning, monitoring road conditions there in Durham. There right now on the I-885 Durham Freeway, you can see the windshield wipers going, traffic beginning to pick up just a bit. Back here in the WRAL Traffic Center, very little to no delays on those roads heading into Durham this morning. If you're coming into Durham from Wake Forest on Highway 98, you're just looking at a 2-minute delay.
Patients are demanding accountability because a Duke fertility doctor used his own sperm to get his patients pregnant. According to Duke Archives, Dr. Charles Pete worked for Duke for nearly 4 decades. Pete died in 2013, and genetic testing reveals he fathered more than a dozen children outside his immediate family. Lori Kruppa was one of his patients, and she learned years later Pete was the sperm donor for her 3 children.
He had said, hey, I might use my own sperm. Are you okay with that? That's a different story, but that's not what happened.
Kruppa says she wants Duke to send a letter to each one of Pete's patients to inform them about what he did. Other people we spoke with who were affected are demanding North Carolina lawmakers pass legislation to address fertility fraud. In a statement, Duke called Pete's actions unacceptable and said they are in communication with the victims who have come forward.
The town of Hillsborough is calling off its contract for license plate reading cameras. The Board of Commissioners initially paused the installation of the cameras over privacy concerns. Last night, they voted unanimously to cancel the town's contract entirely. The police department wanted to use the cameras for investigations and provide assistance in finding missing people and solving crimes. Town leaders say they still want the police department to have the tools they need to keep the community safe.
The Hillsborough Board absolutely wants the Hillsborough Police Department to have funding for the tools to carry out their mission of protecting the public while also protecting the civil rights of our residents and visitors.
Hillsborough Mayor Mark Bell says the cameras that were already installed will be removed. All right, check this out. We are getting a look at the eye of Hurricane Melissa. This is video from yesterday from the U.S. Air Force's hurricane hunters that flew in there. Melissa became a Cat 5 storm yesterday morning. It is still a Cat 5 and will likely remain one as it moves over Jamaica.
Really, that's what a lot of people are talking today. Obviously, you may even have loved ones who are in Jamaica, either visiting or live there. We have Chris Michaels that's tracking that right now from part of the WRAL Severe Weather Center. I mean, Chris, I said a prayer for these people this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the best courses of action there, especially because the hurricane hunters that you saw their footage, they had to abandon flight midway through yesterday because of the severe turbulence. They took note of birds seeking refuge in the eye, the calmest part of the storm, this being one of the few Category 5 storms to ever happen in the month of October because of just how warm that water is south of Jamaica. So it is still an intense Category 5 storm, hours ahead of landfall. Meanwhile, here we've got rain, nothing to do with Melissa, but Elizabeth is helping you plan out for the morning commute.
And we do have a lot of rain scattered across our area. Notice it's not covering the entire region, but we'll continue to see this sort of radar all the way into the late afternoon, into the evening. Scattered rain, some of it heavy at times back here across western Wake County. You can see it's a little bit darker there. It's a little bit heavier. So you're going to run into bands this morning where it's heavier, that it may lighten up a bit. And that's just the trend that we'll see for much of the day. We take a look at our 24-hour rainfall. We have a pocket there in parts of Johnston County where we've seen as much as an inch, 1.8 inches. That's a pretty significant rainfall total. That's an estimate from the radar. And then about an inch and a half up in Roxborough around the Triangle. It's been mostly around an inch to maybe an inch and a quarter. So we've had a good soaking so far. Gradually, this low pressure system will move away. It is having some impacts for our coast as a coastal low. There may be some coastal flooding. We have strong winds along the coast with the system. More about that in a minute. But we are also looking at system number 2 that will roll in for late Wednesday into Thursday. The low that we're dealing with today moves out. This is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with a bit of a break in the precipitation. And then this system rolls through. That brings us rain Wednesday night into the day on Thursday. There's 9 a.m. Thursday, and then gradually it starts to pull away. So 2 chances for rain with this particular pattern over the next several days. Let's talk about Futurecast, and you can see the scattered rain with us this morning. We'll pause it there at 8 o'clock. So the morning commute is going to look just like it is right now. Closer to lunchtime, the rain begins to lighten up a little bit, but we still have scattered showers across our area through the afternoon and into the evening commute. How much rainfall? Still to come, as much as an inch and a quarter in our southern counties and maybe an inch and a half to 2 inches in our northern counties. Looking at some heavier rain still along the Outer Banks and back into the mountains. So for the coast, especially the Outer Banks, there's a high surf advisory, a coastal flood warning for 1 to 3 feet, of inundation, and then of course gusty winds. This means overwash for Highway 12 and the potential for more homes to fall into the ocean. It's messy as you step outside this morning. This is a live look at downtown Raleigh. Winds are gusting up to almost 30 miles per hour in the Triangle, 31 in Rocky Mount, 28 Fayetteville. So it's a blustery start out there this morning. We're going to continue to see winds gusting up to around 30 miles per hour. And you can see that really for tomorrow as well as Thursday and Friday. We continue with the windy conditions. The winds today could cause some power outages, so we'll be watching that for you very closely. By the time we get to Halloween, we're finally a little drier, just in time for trick-or-treating. The weekend looks dry. Don't forget to set the clocks back Saturday night, Ken.
Excellent, Elizabeth. At 6:21, we have State Highway Patrol working a crash on I-85 in the southbound lanes between Brockton Road around Sanders Road. As soon as we get eyes on that, we'll let you know how much this could be affecting your morning commute. Highway 70 might be a good alternate route for those of you in Durham County. Back here in Wake County, I-40 Lake Wheeler Road, the southern loop of the Beltline, westbound lanes moving away from us, traffic beginning to pick up just a bit, but we're not seeing any major delays on many of our major routes, including I-40, just a 1-minute delay from US 1 in Wake Forest, a 1-minute delay on I-87 coming in from Nightdale. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
The countdown to Halloween. 5 on Your Side is showing you how to make sure that you're not tricked into losing money as you scramble to find that perfect costume.
And historic roots. How a tree linked to the 1800s in our area is being preserved.
Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood. If you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather where you are, report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send your video, your pictures, or tip to our news team. We'll check it out.
History is taking root in Cary. The original Henry Clay oak tree stood in Raleigh more than 200 years ago at the corner of North Blunt and East North Streets. Local tradition says it was named after Whig presidential candidate Henry Clay, who penned his Raleigh letter under the tree in 1844. In the 1990s, a seedling from that original tree was planted on the grounds of the Page Walker Hotel in Cary, and a seedling from that tree was grown from an acorn in 2024. Well, now the third generation Henry Clay oak tree has been planted in the Cary Tree Archive. You can visit the tree and many other native old growth species on Southwest Cary Parkway. That's across from the Taylor Family YMCA.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Demi Lovato is hitting the road next year, and Johnny Knoxville is trading pranks for panic.
Yeah, we've got Ken Smith here this morning now with What's Trending.
Yeah, we got some big news from music lovers. Pop star Demi Lovato kicking off her new North American tour in North Carolina. Lovato announcing her It's Not That Deep tour. She will be hitting 23 cities next year, starting with Charlotte on April 8th.
Showing the Queen City some love. Ticket pre-sales begin tomorrow, and you don't have to drive very far. Just over to Charlotte.
So we all have our fears, right?
Right.
Well, we're getting our first look at the reboot of Fear Factor, hosted by actor Johnny Knoxville. Fear Factor House of Fear follows strangers facing extreme stunts, challenges, and mind games. I know for me, it'll be walking through like a tunnel of rats. Ugh.
You know, I think they did one in the original run where like they were in some glass box with like little millipedes and centipedes, and I'm like, nah.
No thanks.
But Johnny Knoxville, good pick for host.
Yeah. It premieres on Fox 50.
Ken, thank you. It is a wet morning, Elizabeth.
It is, and not just a wet morning, but it's a windy morning too. Winds are gusting up to around 25 to 30 miles per hour, so we could have some isolated power outages, and it's chilly. I'll show you what it will feel like when you step out the door.
We're also talking about rain on the road as we are giving you a live look from the WRAL storm tracker. You got the windshield wipers going. That's what you're going to run into if you're heading out the door. What you need to know before you head out the door on this WRAL Weather Alert Day.
And SNAP at risk. Federal food benefits may not go out next month as the government shutdown drags on. How this will affect families across our state.